Good day, my name is Ima Mduduzi Adams, your relationship coach, divorce coach, normally known. So today we're talking about how to recover when a long-term relationship ends, whether you divorce or it's a breakup. I know most people, they always concentrate on the divorce, but people that never consider people that have been in a long-term relationship. Long-term relationship, they have the same principles as marriage, except that you don't have a paper to sign. I mean, let's face it, relationships do end. They do fall apart sometimes. Some just die, like a really painful death, cancer, where they go on for years and years. And I remember asking a friend of mine, when did you know that you want a divorce? And said, the day I married my wife at the airport as we were going to our honeymoon, and her mother called, and when her mother called, the way she spoke to her mother, I knew this was not the woman that I want to spend my life. And I knew that if she can speak to a mother like that, there's a very high chance that she can speak to me in a worse way. Sometimes you lose your spouse when they die, and sometimes the person is alive, but the relationship is dead. How do you recover after 30 years? And you haven't dated anyone. This was a high school sweetheart, and you met, and then all of a sudden now you have to go out there. You are in your 50s, you're in your 40s. But at some point, it has happened. It has happened. This marriage has ended. This relationship is over. You need to move on. But you must believe that you can recover. You must believe that you are capable of recovering. Most people, they always say, how do I recover at this age? How do I that's what I hear mostly with women. How do I recover at this age? You are cursing yourself into that space. You are casing yourself into that loss. You can recover. You can recover. But before you can recover, you need to give yourself time to grieve. Don't just get out of a divorce today. I have a divorce party, I'm out there. I remember on my first divorce, it was a bad marriage, and I remember telling my friends that the day this divorce is finalized, I'm going to wear a bum shirt and I'm going to walk all on Main Street. We're going to have a party. Ladies walking there, we are free. But as the divorce was going towards an end, sorry, I keep on checking my time here. I had to actually make sure that I started sending a different picture. I remember sending them a picture of a woman wearing shorts, and not shorts, actually underwear, and with no bra, and walking around the house and grabbing things. And I said, actually, this is what I'm going to do during my recovery time. Just rediscover being able to walk around the house naked without my ex-husband's kids. And I was just so excited about that. And when the divorce ended, I don't remember really grieving that much, because I was busy. I'm going to write a book, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So grieving is a normal process. When you don't grieve, you're going to take those emotions to the next relationship. You're going to bleed on the next person. Sit down and think about. For me, the first thing was to think of myself as a victor, not a victim. I realized that I took a book, I drew lines, and I used a pencil to write the lies I told myself in this marriage. For years, I've seen myself as a victim, this and this. Every time I'm insulted, I'll go and cry, and I'll phone my sister, he has done this, he has done this. So I started writing the positive things that I gained in this marriage. Why this marriage happened, why did God allow this marriage to happen? And one of the things was I stopped drinking. And my husband was a drinker, and I saw this amazing, intelligent man becoming more of a fool with every drink that he took. And then I realized I don't want to be like that. That's not me. If this is what alcohol does to me, I don't want to be like that. I stopped smoking. Just sleeping with a smoker. For the first time, I had to smell a breath of a smoker. And I realized that this is how I smell too. I don't want to be that person. And thirdly, it is the country. We moved from one country to another, where I managed to do my MBA because it was so cheap in that country to actually study. And I learned the skill of speaking, public speaking. There was so much that I gained. Me as a person, I transformed to a person that I've always wanted to be. I've always been known to be a crazy person, loud and explosive with anger issues. That marriage grounded me because my ex-husband was such a I don't know how to call it, when someone who talks a lot. And I had to learn to listen. And actually, I learned even to block my ears and not to hear. Whenever he raised his voice, I'll stop hearing. So he will say all the negative things and I'll sit there and not hear anything. So I learned to identify with, to accept that whenever he's talking, what is he trying to say? My emotional intelligence moved into another level. Whenever someone calls me a dog and I don't have a tail and I don't hoop, I'm not a dog. So I'm not going to own that insult. I'm not going to take that insult, and I'm not going to get upset about that insult. You called me a dog, well, maybe you're blind, because definitely I don't see any doggy issues around me. So I'm not taking that insult. And one of the things I had to learn was to know who are my friends, who's not on me. And whoever is not for me, I'll thank them and bless them. And I thank the divorce for allowing me to know who's for me and who's not for me. And one of the things, again, that I learned was what to say and what not to say. I realized that 99% of the people were happy that I'm divorced. People have their own problems, and unfortunately, other people's problems make us feel better about our own. So anyone who was asking questions, they were not asking questions so that they can help me move forward. They were asking questions so that it can make them feel better about their own things. Other thing, be active. Spend time alone. Just do things that you normally join the gym. Make sure the best thing you can do, you can't feel rotten inside and look rotten outside. So take care of your body, make sure you look beautiful, go to the gym and do everything, and spend time with those that love you, but make sure that you put the ground rules. We're not talking about my divorce. We're going to talk about everything else, but not my divorce. I want to have a good time, and let's just leave it like that. So make sure that you people around you, they know, and you surround yourself with people that are for you. Don't listen to the gossip. Avoid anyone who's going to come and tell you, I remember my biggest mistake was listening to what my ex was saying. He said this, she said this, he said this. The more he said this, the more I hear what he's saying about me, the more angry I got. So don't listen to the gossip. Take yourself out. I had a mediation. I normally don't share stories of my client, but I'll share this one. They had been separated for 10 years. And this woman had not moved on for 10 years. The men just wanted to sign their papers, but for 10 years they could not divorce because of the volatility of the relationship. It was contaminated. They had not spoken a word. The woman moved out while she heard that her husband was cheating, and she moved out before he came to work. They never got to talk about it. And they never met for 10 years. She didn't want to talk, he wanted to talk. Now they were 10 years later, she wanted to talk, he didn't want to talk. But when we started talking in the mediation session, everything that they were angry about, it was not true. It was a hearsay. She said you were this, she said you were this. I got upset. The reason why the divorce didn't go, because he said he wanted to take my pension money, and he said, I never said that. He says, no, but your friend said. He said, no, they told me that you said you wanted to take my car. And I said, if she takes my car, I'm taking his pension. They had not said those things to each other, but people had told them. And they'd manipulated the story that it was so believable to both of them that they ended up. And this divorce had created so much, this separation had created so much damage, because this man had not seen his kids for 10 years. These kids were now teenagers that hated their father. Their mother had stories that your father had fed these kids so much stories from based on the hearsay information that was not true. So it's very important that when you are going through a separation, try and minimize what you feed your brain. Know who you can speak to and who you can't speak to. Forgive yourself. The other thing is so important that you forgive yourself. I had to literally think, what did I do wrong? Firstly, I had no business marrying this man. Zero. I didn't really love him. And I had to sit down and think how cruel it is to marry someone you don't love. I'm sure that person could tell by my body language that I was not fully in this marriage. And I had to forgive myself and understand that, wonder why this man was so angry. I took responsibility for my actions, for my contribution, and forgave myself. And unfortunately, or fortunately, once I did that, it became so easy for me to forgive other people. And unfortunately, people, we don't want to point the finger on us. It feels much better when I'm pointing fingers that side. But most of the time, you contributed something to the breakdown of that marriage. You were a team player as well. So look down and see what, because if you don't correct that, you're going to go and do the same mistakes to the next, to the next, to the next. So you need to work on yourself and find out, what are my shortfalls? I was speaking to a very angry client, or possible client, and they were talking about the fact that both him and his wife, they work during the week, and then he's got a side hustle of caravan cooking or something like that, and that the wife doesn't want to help on weekends. And I was and he was like, I'm doing this for us, and he's convinced that he's doing this for us. But I said, but what does she want? What does she want? And I know if roles were turned and it was a man and a woman, and the woman has got extra side hustle on weekend, and she is busy sweating there, and the man is at home watching Netflix, the world will be on their heads. Everyone will be so angry. This man is so lazy. And I know that when it's a woman who is doing that, we tend to be a bit biased. But everyone who works really hard during the week, they want to rest on weekends. And if we are going to do a side hustle, we had to discuss that. Am I on it? It has to be both our decisions. But if you decide to do it, please do it. Don't involve me. Don't push me to do it. So sometimes we become a little bit selfish, and we try and push people to live our dreams, and instead of allowing them to be who they want to be. So in recovery moment, is very important that you sit down and write down every little thing that you think you've done, non-negotiable and negotiable ones. For me, one of the biggest things was the fact that I don't iron. And my ex-husband had an issue with that, but it's something that I had mentioned even before we started dating, that I do not iron. The reason why I do not iron, for some strange reason, I don't have a very good relationship with an iron. I've got scars everywhere. I'm a perfect cook. I'm a perfect cleaner. I do everything. I'm a perfect businesswoman. I've got so much to give. And I'm sure any man who loves me will understand that I do not want to iron. So if someone is going to divorce me because I don't want to iron, that person must go. So you write down what you contributed and see if really was it worth it. For me, it is worth it. If someone is going to imprison me just because of one little thing that I can't do when I'm doing so much, it's an issue. So because that person is not perfect, we have to understand the fact that we are not perfect. But when it comes to healing, it's easier to find I'm sorry from you than you will ever get from the other part. Chances are you will never get it. So you have to come to terms with the fact that this person might never apologize to you. And you have to apologize to yourself. You have to heal yourself, because no one is going to come there and bandage your heart. Get out there and see what the world has to offer. Find new friends, find new things that you can do. Get out there. But whatever you do, you must understand that the first time is not going to be pretty when you go out there. You're going to feel like, the world has changed since 20 years ago when you got married. Now this new game, dating is not the same. You find that your married friends, they don't want you anymore now that you are single. People are making excuses. It's fine. Find new friends. You need new friends anyway. So if you go out there and you felt dismally on your first date, come back, dust yourself, and try again. And try again. And try again. And keep on trying. And see what works. But make sure that you go to places that resonate with your values. For me, I like people that are academic, people that are well-read, people that are polite. I go to places where I can meet those kinds of people. I go to places where I'll meet well-mannered people, because those are people that resonate with my soul. The fact that I'm divorced doesn't mean that I'm desperate. You must understand that the fact that you are divorced doesn't mean that you are damaged goods. First, you need to understand that you are still whole. You are not missing anything, no. You are not a reject, no. You're just a woman, a man, who so happen to have something ending, like all other things are going to end. And we must understand that marriages are not the same as they were. Our mothers could live with our fathers for 100 years because most of the time our fathers were not there anyway. They were out there maybe doing other things. So understand that you're not a failure. You're just living in a different time where things have changed. Your mother can't project how you're supposed to be because she never lived with a husband. Her husband worked in the mines. You know, she never had to cook for him every day like you do. So if anyone is going to make you feel like you are not complete anymore because you don't have your husband, that person must go. That person must go. So don't be afraid to cut people off, people that are not going to support you. It's your healing process. And anyone who's throwing stones at you while you are injured, that person doesn't deserve your attention. You can sift the message out of the anger. What nugget can I take out of this? But anything else, I'm not taking it. So you need to understand that you are still whole. You are still the same person. Actually, you're even more prettier because you've got more experience. You know, so understand what you want out there. Do you want another marriage? For me, I was very clear. I don't want more kids. If anyone who's going to marry me has to be a person who understands that I didn't want kids. I didn't want to end up one day dealing with 2 baby daddies. It wasn't for me. And I was mature enough to be able to say that this is me and this is what I'm going to do. And I know the kind of people, as I said, I know the kind of a person I want. I want a person with this and these values. I want a person who's academic. Even if they're not academic, someone at least who's well-learned, who's able to, that I can be able to have a conversation with, and who's not going to villainize me when I decide to go back to school. So you need to understand what you really want, and understand that this is you. But it's very important that you heal first. It's very important that you love yourself first. And it's very important that you accept that the situation it is. And lastly, don't keep on trying to force the person to love you back. Love is a feeling, it's not an action. The person has to feel something about you. They can't make themselves love you once they're not longer in love with you. If a person comes to you and says over, thank them for at least giving you a chance to find the love you deserve. In my language, we say, chakulamba chakuwangola, chakuvuma chakusamankatrankatra. The one who has rejected you has done you a favor because they're giving you a chance to redo things the way you want. They were not selfish enough to keep you there while they know that they're not serving your best interest. So if someone tells you that they don't want you anymore, bless them and let them go. Don't be calling relatives and doing whatever and trying. You can call relatives when you still think that there was a mistake done, this marriage still has a chance, this relationship still has a chance. But once you see that this person really doesn't want you anymore, let them go. They deserve happiness too. You deserve happiness too. You deserve to be loved by the person that loves you. And you deserve to have your love reciprocated as well. Thank you so much. Let's hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and share with any person that needs to hear this message.